For decades, polls have shown that parents have their first kid usually for themselves, and they often have their second kid for the benefit of their first kid. This seems to be based on a lot of mythology, that only children are lonely, selfish, and maladjusted. And there's also a lot of mythology about parents of only children, that we too are selfish, that we spoil our kids, or maybe that we don't even like kids to begin with. It turns out that all of these myths are completely untrue. So let's go through the myths about only children. Number one, only children are lonely. Well, loneliness is different than solitude. Solitude means having a strong relationship with oneself, and in studies, hundreds of studies over decades and decades, we've found that only children are actually not lonelier. In fact, only children have a stronger primary relationship with themselves. This means that they have a healthier sense of solitude. So number two, selfishness. Tons of studies have been done about narcissism in only children, and no one has found that only children are more narcissistic than anyone else. Furthermore, only children really value relationships with other people. We need them. We need to build them. We don't have automatic peer relationships at home. And we're also raised to understand in a very adult and mature way that selfishness detracts from those relationships. Third, that only children are maladjusted. Only children actually adjust socially just as well as other kids, especially once they're in grade school. School is the great equalizer. The myths about parenthood tend to feel really complicated for us, I think. On the one hand, we really want our kids to be happy. We don't want those myths to be true about only children, but we also don't want to carry on the notion that we are anything but great parents. The notion that children of only parents are selfish is another thing that clings to us as much as it does to our kids. But consider the economy. So it costs close to $300,000 to raise an average kid to age 18. And while we're working more than ever, we're also parenting more than ever. All of that time, energy, and money, which is finite, that we can devote to our families, is all we got. So when we dilute it amongst more children and larger families, then there's less of it to go around. That's considered spoiling. And I think that's really problematic. Spoiling is something that can happen in any family, regardless of family size.